Not yet. There we go. Yeah, we're chugging along up here in Cottontown, Tennessee. My internet didn't want to push me live, so I'm glad we finally got on. So, Carter, how you doing today?
I'm good. Just working hard and been focused. It was one of those days where you have tunnel vision and you're just like going, and suddenly you look up and go, "Oh, I got to get on the Facebook Live."
Well, we'll try to be kind to you today. How's that? We've
Please.
we've got a pretty good show today. I think we're going to talk about the newest addition to Google My Business, which most people refer to as the map listing. But before we get started, because I just have to play this every week to let people get on and get situated, and we'll be back. So, all right. So, the first thing I want to talk about really is what in the world is Google My Business? Because most people look at it as your map listing. And yes, it is listed in the map. So, when you do a search and it pulls up, normally what you see at the very top are Google ads. They'll see the hub, AdWords. It's a little ad section there. If you are a plumber, um, HVAC, locksmith, those kind of businesses, you also may have, there's three block ads at the top. Those are called your local ads. So, two different types of ads that Google does. And then right below that normally is the map section. And so when your business pulls up and is one of the three in maps, there's a place where you can click below and find out where you actually rank in maps there. But that really is your Google My Business listing. And one of the things a lot of people don't understand is the more optimized your Google My Business listing is, and that with some other I hate that word, algorithmic stuff and reviews is kind of how you show up on maps. So if you're excited about learning about this, give us a thumbs up, a heart, give us a little bit of love. Let us know you're here and you're excited about getting started. Because here we go. We're going to hop right in here. So here's the one thing I thought was interesting. Google has started to label some things new on Google. So if you are new to Google, if you've got something that has just happened on Google, if you might have a new post, they are testing this new on Google feature. So just kind of keep your eyes open for that. A lot of things that happen on Google that we say are new are things that they are testing. We don't know if they've released it, with everybody. Sometimes they release it. I'll give you a good example. They may release it with car dealers, and they may test it on new cars or new models or those kind of things. So, do we know if that's going to transfer over to a service business? No, we don't. A lot of things like this with the new labels, they're product centric, but you just never know. And we do have chimney guys and different people that do sell products as well. So just kind of keep your eyes open for that, and know that if you see that tag, that new on Google tag, that is probably something that you haven't seen before. Another thing, I love this. Google Posts can now appear on third party sites without your knowledge. Now, some people I've heard say, I want to know where they are. Well, yeah, we all want to know where they are. But the more important thing is your poster showing up somewhere else. That's a good thing, right?
Well, so these are the posts that are included in your Google My Business listing. There's an area where you can make like current postings about what's going on in your business, special offers, things like that. And you're saying that those are appearing, like if I'm on a local news website or something, then suddenly I might see a Google post from my Google My Business listing appearing how, like an ad, or what? How does that work?
They're appearing on third-party sites. So Google has an entire network of sites. A lot of people don't realize this, that they're like partner sites. And so these are just third-party sites that they have said, yes, Google, you can come on here and present things here. They do AdSense that way, which is an ad program that is really, really old. It's one of the very first ways that Google ever started doing ads online. Program called AdSense. You don't hear much about it anymore, but there's a lot of network sites and third-party sites that Google actually has access to it and permission to serve up different things, whether it's an ad, whether it's now a Google post or something that's interesting like that. And like I said, you're not gonna see a local post show up in England, on a site in England. This is for local businesses, and they know that. So just know, you may be on a news website, or Weather Channel, maybe another one. I mean, they know where you are by that. What's that ID? I can't think of it. My brain is fried today. The yeah, well, they know where you're.
ID is what they call it, but yeah, it's like the identifier for Google's system, right?
Yeah, but they know where I am, where my computer is.
Your IP address.
Yeah, my IP address. Thank you. I knew it said ID address instead of IP. There you go. I told you, it's just one of those days. It's Thursday. I'm ready for the weekend. Are you?
Very much so.
Yeah, I know. It's been a week. Anyway, they know where you are. They know where you're located. So, they also know from your Google My Business location, you've got an address in there, whether you show it or not, you got to put an address in. So they're not going to show it, I'm in Nashville. They're not going to show a Nashville local business in California. So just know that. So just understand that, yes, your post can now appear on third-party sites. So if you're not doing Google posts, which a lot of people don't, I would suggest that you start doing them, because they may just show up somewhere else, and that's a good thing.
Michael Fazy said, what are the benefits of making a post on a Google My Business page? And that answers it pretty well right there. For the opportunity to get on third-party sites, to drive traffic from other places back to your website or back to your listing, it's a big deal.
Well, here's the other thing. To fully optimize your listing, you need to be posting, and minimum twice a month. That's what I would tell you. The post, actually, when Google came out and said, we're actually going to kind of tamp down on the blog post because people keep writing about the same stuff over and over and over again. And this is one of the areas that they said, if you can move your attention over to Google Posts, that would be beneficial. And we have found that to be true. We see posts showing up in search. It's always a good thing. I mean, I think those are several benefits there. Cheryl, thank you, Cheryl. It's always one of those days lately. Guys, yeah, it's been a crazy week for me, but I appreciate you guys being so patient. I really do. So here's the other thing. Google is testing putting your number of reviews across the web underneath your Google review total on the knowledge graph. So the knowledge graph, if you guys have ever searched just your website, and the knowledge graph kind of is what comes up in search. So if you see the map listing and you click on it, the knowledge graph is what comes up. But a lot of times it also comes up in search from time to time. So what they're testing right now, and I saw one the other day, is underneath where your Google reviews would be, they also will show your Yelp reviews, your Facebook reviews, Yellow Pages reviews, just reviews from other places around the web. So that's really a great place to know that if you go out and you've spent a lot of time gathering reviews in multiple places, Google is now testing putting the total number of those reviews everywhere. So on that knowledge graph. So I should have said not reviews everywhere, but the reviews from everywhere that you are in that knowledge graph. So hopefully that made sense. If I don't make sense, then guys, y'all just kind of deal with me. Christian, here you go, Mike. You consider it similar to a free local ad. You can make offers, announcement, or educate your local customers with posts as well. Thanks, Christian. I love when our guys jump on here because they actually do this every day, and Carter and I don't. We just get to talk about it. Just kind of how it goes.
We ask our employees, okay, this is what we're going to be talking about. Help us.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's see. What is the next thing? So Google is testing two. This is interesting. Testing two listings in the map pack instead of three. And we are seeing this show up more and more often. Now, guys, I don't know how long y'all have been online and how long you've actually been marketing in the space, but when the map listing first came out, it was a 7-pack, and if there weren't 7, they would give you 5, and so they whittled it down to 3, and it's been 3 for probably several years, probably 3 to 5 years now. A long time. It's been pretty much predominantly 3, unless you're in an area that there's just not 3 businesses and they'll only show 2 or 1. Now, and I've seen this show up in some really big metro areas, taking that 3-pack just down to a 2.
Wow.
So why would they do that? Why would they do that? Any ideas? Oh, come on, guys. It always comes down to this one thing. It's always about money. It's always about money. The reason they do that is they want you in ads. So, yeah, it's always about the money. So if you get ads, they want more people in ads. And so if they can squeeze that map listing even more, hey, forces more people into ads. Do we like it? Probably not. But, I'm not Google. I don't control them. So, but then there's this. This is another interesting thing that Google does. We actually spotted a 10-pack in May. That was the first and only 10-pack we've spotted.
Like, yeah, a map pack
Yeah,
with 10 listings.
10 listings.
It must have been a mistake.
That's what I think too. But it's funny about when you look at all these different people, because we're in these forums, much like the chimney forums, where people ask questions and things come up or whatever. It's amazing. We're in these forums and somebody will see something and then everybody will rush to go look. And it's like, wow, that really happened. It's fantastic. This is great. And then you don't ever see it again because that was May. So just know if you see something different in your Google Map listing, your GMB listing, it's okay. I mean, they are testing all the time. And Tom, here, because they can. Also, money. That's so true. They can. It's their playing field. Here's the other thing that I think is really interesting to know about Google. And I think we have to keep this in perspective sometimes. Right now, today, GMB is 100% free. 100% free. So it's a free tool that you can get on, optimize to the absolute max in your area, and utilize it as best as possible. Or it's free and you can let it sit there and not do anything with it. And if you come up, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. So the real impetus is what I'm trying to say to you is it's like anything else that's free. A lot of people don't see the value in things that are free. And then there are other people that see something that's free and go, oh my gosh, I can really utilize that thing. So my real, I want to encourage you guys to get into your Google My Business listings and really optimize it, because that is where you are going to see the most bang for a free, because you don't have to put a buck in, right? It's just your time. So I think that's really, really good. So another thing that Google is testing, which I think is really great for service area business.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. is testing areas served in the knowledge graph. In other words, actually putting the areas you actually serve in front of the customer. We hear a lot of people, when you optimize your Google My Business listing, the way that you have to do it is really kind of clunky. You either can do it by zip codes, and if you have more than one Google My Business listing, if you are in separate areas, don't do this if you're in one area. But
Yeah.
if you're in separate areas and you do have more than one Google My Business listing, you have to be very, very careful not to cross over zip codes because they will suspend you in a New York second if you use the same zip codes or cross over from zip code to zip code from one Google My Business to the other. So that's really important to know. The other thing is a lot of times you just draw a circle and 50 miles from this spot or whatever it is. The problem with that is there are areas within that circle that a lot of people do not serve. It's just it could be, if you get into a metropolitan area like Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Houston, you get into some of those areas that are so densely populated. And in the sake of Houston, I mean, if you put your business in the middle of Houston, you'd have to serve a 500-mile radius almost, or a 500-mile span, all the way around. And not everybody does that. So you just gotta, it will give you a little bit of more flexibility from what I've been told, if those areas served actually come up. So I think that's another really good thing. And then this last thing I want to talk about, I see both abuse and the lack of use in the categories. Guys, the categories are really, really important, and Google is pushing out new categories all the time. So let me just give you an example. I'm going to do it in a plumbing and HVAC electrical business. I mean, those categories, he needs to be in plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. They do all three. If you're a chimney company and you also sell fireplaces and hearth, then you need to be in chimney as well as fireplace and hearth. You might also want to be in dryer vent cleaning. These are all categories that you need to look for. And I don't even know if all these categories are back there. I know some of the guys that work in this all the time, they know that the categories change some. It could be chimney and venting. It might be chimney services. It could be chimney sweeping and chimney repair. I mean, they're all different categories. And then you need to use the where you can fill out the category and really robustly fill that out, of what that category really means to you. Those are all really, really good things to utilize. So if you've not done that, make sure that you go in periodically, check the categories, make sure that all those categories that you could legitimately use. Okay. And I say legitimately because I have also seen people that are chimney sweeps that are, claiming to do construction and renovation and I mean all kinds of stuff, and no, that you're not in that category. You need to be specific in the category. So that's really, really important as well. And hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, and put your questions in, because we do have some of our guys that work in this all the time. They are on with us and they can answer questions probably better than Carter or I, either one can, because I'm just not in it every day. We're doing other stuff, and that's okay. So there is another thing, and I want to thank specifically Aaron Blaze. He is our GMB specialist here at Spark Marketer, and he helped me go through and put this all together. And he wanted to make sure, because this is one of the major questions that he gets, because periodically Google reviews just up and go missing. They are just gone. And it has a, and this is not new. I'll just tell you, this has happened from the beginning. I've had people lose hundreds of reviews, believe it or not, at one time, and not ever get them back, and have to just keep building up the reviews. And Google never says what the issues are, and they never tell us when it's going to be resolved. But hopefully, you guys will understand. And can you tell? I don't know if y'all can hear the buzz in the back. I apologize for that. I have no control over my lawn guy. I just don't. Anyway, uh, we have asked and asked and asked, and they just never tell us what's going on, or if it's ever going to be resolved, or it's just something that they do periodically that they go through and just cull reviews. So my advice is this: always be getting reviews. That way, no matter what happens, you just know you've got a system in place. Just keep getting those reviews.
Fresh reviews. Yeah. It's like lettuce. The lettuce you bought at the grocery store last week is not the lettuce you want to be eating this week, right? Stuff, it disappears, it goes bad. You got to be constantly buying new lettuce.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And people go, well, that's not fair. And it's, again, you have to, this is the thing about fairness. Is it fair that Google makes absolutely zero money from reviews? I don't know. They may not think it's fair, but they don't make any money by providing a place for consumers to go give reviews for your business. And we know, because of the way reviews work, that reviews are one of the best things you can do for your business. Because when people come to your business and they see those reviews, they know you do really good business. And so, it's free again. So it's like, I'm like, if you paid for it, you may have some recourse, but because it's free, just keep getting reviews and let it go, because you can't do anything about it. And hopefully one day Google will actually do something, but we're still waiting.
They're Google.
They're Google. That's right. And so I'm going to just remind you that Spark Live can now be found in the following places.
In addition to Facebook and YouTube.
That's right. In addition to Facebook, YouTube, they can be found on Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And we are also providing a replay of this the following Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Central. So we started that this week. So if people miss it, or if you guys say this is a really terrible time, I can't ever get on here at this time, can't you please do it in the evenings, which we've had some people ask, then we're doing a replay the following Wednesday in the evening. And so, well, I don't see a lot of any more comments up there. Have you seen any more?
No, a little quiet today, but that's all right.
It's all right. It's okay. So let me just tell you about next week. We're excited because we are bringing Caroline Shepard back. There are some new things in map spam, and some good, some bad, and probably some ugly. And we're going to get into that with Caroline next week. She is fantastic when it comes to map spam. She really knows her stuff, and we're looking forward to that. So if that's it, guys, we hope that you have found some really good information here and that it will help you. We just try to bring the newest stuff and the best stuff we can on a week-to-week basis. Sometimes we hit it, sometimes we miss it, but at least we're here. So that's a good thing. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much.
Thanks.